It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor like you. Cause let's make the most of this beautiful stream. And since we're together, I'll tell you what I mean. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be? I got a new camera. Looks good, right? I almost feel like it's got some teeny bopper filter built into it or something. Do I look do I look younger? Or is it that fat don't crack and neither does crazy? Which one is it? Let me know in the comments below. Writes Richard Hensley. Pops. CVO. Yeah, dude. I went out and bought it after work today. I was trying to get something off in the mail and I was not able to. Usually at Meyer, you can actually buy, do postage. Wasn't able to. The shot's a little goofy, but the camera's all right. The glare's no good on the glasses. But whatever. What's up, John? Lots to talk about. Kind of like new releases. I think we'll talk about that. And won't you be my neighbor? Yeah, everything except for throwing around the shoes like I had it because I was pulling in this cold room, like throwing on a sweater weather, throwing on a sweater. I felt like Mr. Rogers for a minute. Sue me. I am on tweak the camera just a little. It doesn't matter what I do with that. Oh, it's not the light that you see, it's the computer. We'll try something else real quick. Live in a neighborhood with you, so it doesn't matter what I do. It's gonna be what it is, I think. But yeah, it looks better. That's cool. So what's happening? We'll talk about what I'm building a little bit. There was some new releases today. Airplane, new release, was a fast little what do they call that thing? It blanked me. I totally know what it is. I looked at it. I actually saw the video last night. A little birdie sent it to me early. Right. So what's that thing called, dude? That new one. The little speed demon thing. Fine. I'll look at my email and I'll tell you. So let's talk about thanks, Dad. So Losi released a new mini monster truck, the Megalodon. It's a Shark. Not for me, but it's cool. Electro Streak. Is that what you said, Rightsa? Electrostatic. What's up, Spencer? So it's like a Crescendo on roids or something, just a little bit smaller. I mean, it reminds me of a Timber Evolution paint decal. You know what I mean? So that looks cool. So the Shark monster truck, the electrostatic, as Wrights would call it, Electro Streak, which looks like a fun little ripper. The Big Rock and the Granite were released as well. And those are the 223 brushless style run on 2 and 3S. Cool. And yeah, I actually think there may be some planes coming my way, which is interesting. Because I've got it in my head to do this how-to stuff right now. So that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Yes, it's the Crawler Fab Tiny Truck Garage Fab Show, but we can talk about whatever we want. So sometimes we're going to talk about airplanes. Sometimes we're going to talk about the 3D printed Unimog that I've got started. I need to get pictures from Crowder, Dad. This thing's going to be sweet, actually. There's a lot to it. I have 2 boxes worth of little bits and parts that I printed off, and it's going to end up going on this TRX4 right here. TRX4 is kind of neat because it's 2-speed, so I'll have like a long hair, don't care. So I'll have like a, yeah, I don't think I do anymore. A little bit. I don't know. It's winter. It's that time of year. But I've been wanting to do that forward programming video. And I kept it as short as I could. But I think sometimes it helps create context if you explain a little bit why. You know, so we are going to talk about that video. I just got that. I filmed it last night at 1 a.m. I was in front of the camera doing that till 2 a.m. last night. I edited on lunch and when I got off today, and I put it out. So it's kind of interesting. A lot of you guys do know how to do this, but a ton of people don't. But I think what's really crucial in that video is showing the part where I think this trips everybody up, the fixed / adjustable gains, that you have to select one or the other. You know what I mean? So I think that was very important and useful. And also the NX10 is on the brand new update. The screens have changed just a little bit. Most of us that have done this before will have no problem figuring out that what used to be aux2 channel 7 is now aux7 channel 7. But no harm in mentioning it. And I think it makes sense to gear that video at everything rather than to limit myself. Because as you know, with the bind and fly, you're not going to be setting up gains, and you don't really have to go through that first time setup stuff. But if you have a bind and fly and you factory reset it for whatever reason, or you updated the receiver, it's going to act like a new receiver. So going through what I did in that video can help you. And I hope that video does fantastic for me, because I think it can. I think it can. What's up, Jerry? Richard, what up? I saw your question. SMC batteries, I've used them before. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Jerry, I couldn't get to the post in time, but I'll try to get it out tomorrow. Um, I aim to do it on lunch today, but I wanted to edit. So you're ready. I just got to do it. Electro Streak 1.1. Yeah. I think I'm going to get the Sportix and the little Mustang. I'm not sure. But I don't care because I'm not waiting around. I'm doing how-to videos. Cool, Jerry. Thanks. I just don't want to hang on to them forever. Get it done. I felt pretty good about moving so fast because I was able to find that you sent me that and that file right away. So very good. Very good. And I think what's going to happen is, yeah, man, a little bit of how to this and there, here and there. And I really want to do that on, a lot of the trucks have either AVC or DSC or DC, whatever, a couple different brands of stability as well that I think gets complicated for people setting their stuff up. So that's kind of stuff I think I'm going to try to do. It's easy in a way. I don't have to get out and necessarily do it, which makes it pretty cool. How is the audio? Because it's this new webcam that's picking it up, that's doing it. Is it okay still? Good thing about, I think, my voice carries, so a microphone can be weak and it still work. I'm just tickled with how good it looks in the background, actually. Right, so I got the Super Timber on sale. Killer. The Masked Pilot. Yo, 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 boys. Staying blessed in here. Absolutely. Dell in the house, y'all. Dan Zimmerman, what up? Boss, I was thinking about you. Is Boss in here? I know he was I think he was right there. It just had a little bit of trouble getting finished up on the safe setup. I tried to make it short, dude. I try to make it short. I mean, it was 30 minutes. Boss 223, dude, what up? That video's for you, man. And yes, I didn't do it in the video, but that third flight mode, first, whatever flight mode you want, you can set up. Just don't try to get rid of AS3X. Just turn the gains to 0. It keeps it simple. That 40, 50, 60, just roll you one down to nothing. One of the flight modes. So 3 times roll, pitch, and yaw. You'll do that. And I think now anybody who didn't know what I was talking about with that fixed / adjustable business will be able to see what I'm talking about. And you know what? There's a lot of bigger channels out there. And I think if I keep doing this, you can't beat me. You can't beat me on the tutorials. I'm hoping to get a groove on with them, and it's what they call evergreen content. It does not lose popularity. And what's the worst thing that happens? If other YouTubers decide to compete in that arena, that means that there's more help for the whole community going out there. Compete on that. I think people are sick of just seeing. I was sick of doing it in a way. Like, I always wanted to do more, but I was like just lucky to keep up with getting the flight videos, and it was easy to just knock out those when I was able to. But I wanted to do more. It seemed, and I think I have a better idea now how, yeah, boss, you nailed it, how much in demand some of that is. I mean, we take it for granted how to bind a plane, how to set up throttle cut. I literally could probably do a 1 5-minute video on how to do throttle cut. Why not? King of the Hammers Racing starts on Saturday with a big race next Saturday. Pre-flight video? Yeah. With the way this technology works, like I said, you really need to have the flight controls right before you get into the stability, or it's going to be wrong. Not only will you do it twice, but if you don't do it right, you're going to crash your plane. And even guys that don't want to use safe, setting up safe, personally, I think is a good idea because it's free, whether you use it or not. But it's a great way to make sure everything is correct directionally. So that's important. That is important. Setup is everything. Yeah. Yeah, I say RC is like dog years, right? Like 1 year in regular life is 7 years in RC innovation. Things happen quick. Marshall was good at them, and I think they were aimed at the 636, which, of course, now in a way is obsolete, but that's still useful information for those that have the 636. Personally, I'm never going to recommend someone go backwards to learn something when everything else has moved the other way. But that's still super useful content, man. So yeah, I've been kind of jamming on that stuff a little bit, and I've been, this is going to be cool. This Mercedes Unimog is going to be awesome. And we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different pieces. And what's cool about this guy's design is that it's actually screwed together. There has been no glue on this yet. Fenders, the stuff, the cab mounts, the chassis mounts, the whole thing, man. I've got window stuff to put in, more framework and that. Pretty neat file with a really good instruction manual, which is odd, I think, to find sometimes with this stuff. Yeah, safe is cool, and I think it makes sense to learn how to set it up. If you're flying that stuff and you're enjoying the technology, a lot of people are. I've got some things to do for myself. I want to learn how to do some of the nose wheel business with the AS3X Plus, and I want to also do flight modes differently. So flight modes are not always just for safe. That's where most people are going to use it. But we've talked about it before, where if I have flaps, I used to have I had a couple P38s do the same thing, where if I deployed the flaps, there was a serious right roll in the plane. And so I could trim that out and it was fine. But if I put the flaps back up, well, now I got to trim it out. If you set up your flaps on a flight mode, you can trim for the condition and you're never going to have to adjust for that roll again. So I think that is a good one to show. And yeah. So we can talk more about that on Sunday. I mean, I'm going to always talk about where my head's at. So it doesn't matter whether it's today or Sunday, but I'm a little bit going to talk about what's on my mind. Yeah, the nose wheel AS3X Plus deal. Yeah, I think that's a good one. And I think we'll have to you have to split out the nose wheel to another channel. So either you're going to have enough channels to do it on the receiver, or you may have to consider an 8-channel receiver to make it happen. If it's got a motor in it, I'm going to watch. There you go. I'd like to see, writes a thanks. I'd like to see a video on how to set up endpoints correct way on a surface vehicle. Yeah. Like with a DX3, like the calibration kind of procedure, because there's 2 ways to calibrate a surface vehicle, even with a ready-to-run radio. If you go through the calibration with the ESC and the receiver and the vehicle, and you don't get the indicator you need for left or whatever, then there's a few things that you can do to fix that. One is follow the damn directions. If it says that the throttle trim and the steering trim are straight up and down, it says that you are supposed to have a fully charged battery. If it says you're supposed to have the brake rate cranked all the way to the right and the steering rate cranked, not the trim, the rate cranked all the way to the right, and the throttle limit at 100%, it means it. But if you've got all that right and you go through the ESC bind calibration with the vehicle and you're not getting an indicator, let's say when you're setting the left steering and press the set button and you're looking for one blink of a confirmation, if you don't get it, it's possible you need to calibrate the ready to run radio by itself with the truck off, just so that radio itself can learn its endpoints. And then that should help you when you're doing the vehicle actually achieve the desired result of finding full left, full right, and whatnot. Yeah, I really want to turn screws on this kit, but it's like I need the computer to look at the manual and figure it out, these little pieces for this Traxxas deal. I could strip it down though a little bit, because I guarantee you I got to lose the I guarantee I'm going to have to lose the inner fenders and the front bumper for sure. But I've still got to figure out and sort where the all the stuff goes. Yeah, Philip, thanks, man. Yeah, you know what's funny is the MacBook should have a good webcam in it, but it's been garbage. The one camera I had for so long, I don't have the cables for, my really good camera. And the webcam quit the bed. And when I bought the new webcam, every one of them had USB-A, the big USB that we're used to. And I was trying to find a USB-C on a webcam because I was thinking if it's the USB-A jack in my widget, then I'm in trouble. This new camera is not going to work. But it actually was the camera itself that was bad, not the USB hub thing that I'm using. So that's cool. The picture looks warmer than I do. Yeah, man. But yeah, airplane guys, I released the how to set up safe forward programming video right before the show tonight. 18 minutes, I think it is. Um, pass that around. Anybody that's having trouble. I, I said it in the video too, and I think it happens a lot where you'll be halfway there or most of the way there with safe, where the surfaces twitch twice, everything seems to be fine, but you're not able to actually access the things you thought you just set up. So check it out. And then Sunday we'll put out a vote. You know, we'll ask the chat Sunday what tutorial they think is a good idea next. I would like to redo the battery one, honestly. It's too long. But we'll see. I think there's good stuff in that video. Anybody's got doubts about how to get it done, I hope that would help them tremendously. Fine tune it to this band LS Glostic. When you flip a plane right over fast, it can sometimes glitch the gyro a bit. It does have to catch up with itself, so to speak. And I've heard a lot of people talk about flipping the plane upside down to check for safe. Well, here's why I don't do that. If you flip the plane upside down, you can check that safe is on and the ailerons may go nuts. But both directions. Okay, so now you know safe is in, but you don't know which direction it's correcting. So to verify that it's correct, I personally always do it the same way. I'm a little bit so slow that when I figure something out, I will stay that way forever. So I don't have to think about it. So for me, I'm in the pilot seat, put the plane in a left roll. I know that right aileron is going to deflect up to create that level. And so that's what I look for every time. And I just do it that way every time. I even think dual rates people don't know how to do. And upside down, safe is amazing. But I'm thinking if you're setting up a plane and you turn it upside down to see if it's on, you're going to find out that it's on, but you're not quite done doing your pre-flight. Because yes, it's on, but is it the right direction? And if your safe is wrong, so is your AS3X, right? Because you're setting that stuff up together, really. Even though it's separate, AS3X is on all the time in safe. And safe has its own gains that are different than the AS3X gains. Like the default safe gains was 35 in the video I just had done, but 40, 50, 60 on the AS3X stuff. So that's speaking to the what angle, self level angle demand. Yeah. Just trying to help, as is always the case. I did get some paint on the big SCX6, but it's not mounted to the chassis yet or nothing. It's a lot tougher to do with a large plane for me. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about flipping it upside down. You don't need to. Put it in a left roll or a right roll, whatever's your favorite. And same thing. You put it in a nosedive and you'll see up elevator deflection indicated. And then you know it's right. Then you know it's right. Yeah. So, man, I'm trying to crush YouTube so I can get another kit, dudes. I'm trying to crush it. I'm gonna get a kit. So let me put the camera doesn't really show me and the bench. I wonder if I can get it higher. I think I want to change the tires on this thing real quick and maybe strip down the um inner fenders just real quick. I just want to see this body on there, man. Let's do that. Because you can do that. You can crank up the gains in just AS3X and visually see and check the direction. It's going to be easier if you crank it. Put the gains at something like nuts, super high, and you'll be able to see the movement, but it's still going to always return to neutral. That's why safe is amazing, because the AS3X, even if the gains are way up there, you put it in a position, the control surfaces are going to return to neutral. So why not do safe? And then it'll stay there as long as you want it to, so you can see what's happening. See what's happening. Let's see. I cleaned up my desk, so now, of course, I can't find anything. I'm looking for my 2mm. Right, so I hear what you're saying. And I think that's an absolute viable situation or option for those that don't want to do, if they just know they don't want to even have safe in there at all. I think that's a good idea. My fear is that somebody does it and forgets to undo it. If they forget to undo it, then their gains are way too high and they may find themselves in a world of hurt. I found it. 2mm. Yeah, I had to buy some Amazon screws, taper head, Phillips, 2mm, and various lengths to work on the Unimog. But they fit perfect, dude. Yeah, that's 1x. There's a lot of stuff in the video that I don't touch it. I only do, it's the course of least. I don't do any more than I need to. And when you're new, you don't know if you're supposed to do everything or touch every option. So I think people are gonna get served well for that video. I'm glad to have done it. I'm glad to have done it. Let's kill them with it, dudes. Let's raise the roof just a little bit. Can I get a little higher? I can. And a little downer. Let's try not to cut me off, brother. That works. Yeah, I just already know that's too tall. These inner fenders have to come out, and maybe the shock tower dude too. I'm betting so. Let's start yanking and janking, shall we? Let's do it. Right, so that's right. He says it's also best to leave fixed gains until you're more familiar with setting adjustable because gains are pretty much the same from plane to plane. Yeah, and I would also say that adjustable for someone new who's watching a tutorial in the first place, I don't think there's any reason to teach them how to set gains to an adjustable knob. It may give them a false sense of security. You can only adjust down from where you're at, not up. So fixed, bro. If somebody's already watching me because they didn't get it, then why bother? And then if you teach them how to do adjustable, you got to also teach them how to capture those gains when they get them where they want. Otherwise, they may accidentally adjust something very easily. And man, I just want everybody to get along and have a good time, you know. I need something to put these in. Oh no. That stinks. Video games. Was it new? If it's a new plane and something malfunctioned, they're pretty good at taking care of you, man. I mean, nobody's selling planes or anything on purpose on the third flight. You set it up by the book. 100% high rate business, 70% low. It shouldn't happen. You know, there's a part of me that hates losing this stuff that's got its own kind of battle damage. Uh, Man, I love this camera. It probably can be fixed, but if it was new, that shouldn't have happened at all. Their support's pretty good. Just create a case. Go through chat or email them. Chat's probably the quicker way. to get your case assigned to a agent. From what I hear, you know what I'm saying? All right. Boxes of bits. Look at all this stuff I printed off for the Unimog. I think we're going to dig out the bumper and try to put it on. Let there be light. Man, it doesn't even blow it out that bad. The bumper. Oh, yeah, dude. I don't get rid of anything. Axel, what up? Yes, the old one. For certainly. So I may need part of this. I think that's the thing, dudes. I'm going to have to look. I'm either missing a piece or I don't know what I'm doing. Could be a little bit of both, I'm sure. Yeah, if you contact them, that's you want to go through product support instead of customer service. But either way, they'll get you to the right people. I think that would be the part I needed. We're going to take it all apart. Eddie, what up, man? Eddie, I managed to get that video out today. Do the little ultra micro batteries also have a auto discharge? I doubt they do. They might, but I doubt it. I may be taking this apart for no reason at all. Yeah, right before the stream, I put it out. You know, if you ever have something that happens to your plane and you think about it before you turn everything off, look at your radio and check for frame losses and holds, because that will tell you a lot. That can tell you a lot. And you have to do it before you turn stuff off, or it will go away. Yeah, I think this was worthless. I didn't need to do that. I mean, why in the hell does that not go there? I don't know, man. Fenders looking good. The hood. They use magnets in this too. I bought some. How is that? The prints do look good. Thanks. I think so too. Not bad, man. Not bad. And Dad said, and I printed that one off gray because I thought I might leave it gray. And it's even kind of got the black weather strip. This hadn't been cleaned up yet, but it's got the black weather stripping that clicks in friction fit into the windows. Yeah, bolt together. It's like so cool. I'm just seeing if there's any mount that I missed that I need right now. Word. So that's the rear fenders and stuff. None of that is it. Bro, I'm going to have to look in the manual this guy made. What's up, Big Jim? What I like too is if, like this hood, I didn't like it, so I printed off another one. I don't want to look in the book right now, though. I'll figure it out, though. Just not right this minute, I guess. That's what I think too, a little bit, man. The Electro Streak looks like a good time, especially if you're not looking to take up a lot of space. It's like having a Conscindo, but like a miniature version, a little bit, which is kind of cool. Dag nabbit. Well, that's the fun part, is figuring it out. It's just not going to be right here when I do it, I guess. So yeah, big rock, granite, megalodon for the kids, monster truck. Not my jam either. I think the big rock's interesting. What's up, Keith? I think the Electro Streak is looks like a good time. Well, reggae today, as they say. I'll try to lose these Gotta lose the battery tray too. We'll take off these inner fenders. I want to set this body down on it. That's what I want to see. The new glider pre-order, probably. I feel like most of that stuff is, if it's new, that's always seemed to be the way. New Synapse receivers dropped today. Oh, that's cool. Axel, I just put out a video before the stream on how to do safe on the NX10 new update. So what you're going to see, what? Don't tell me a link connects to that. Shit. Bro, if I have to get a regular stripped down TRX4 to do this, I'm going to be pissed. Bro, the link. Connects to the inner fender. What? What else? Pre-order, yeah. Full ride aileron. Dang. Sawzall. No, I need these bits for when I decide to go a different way. Ah. Shocks too. Jeez. What? Interesting. Interesting. Thanks, Dad. Well, it's on now. This is what I get for thinking, TRX4, they're all the same. They're not. Because the TRX4 Sport doesn't have inner fenders. So there must be shock towers that they're using to attach stuff to. Yeah. So unless this kit has provisions for this, this may be going back together, dude. I don't know. I don't know. If I can buy the bits to make it work, that would be fine too. But at least it's sitting there right now. Ish. More right. I just don't know what they intend me to do on some of this. That's what I get. Anyway. I don't want to buy Traxxas parts. I just wanted to use what I had. What's up, Fred? Yeah, dude. You know, I could make the stock Traxxas body clips right in the inner fenders, but I'm making a shit ton of work for myself. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. So when I get into this manual some more on how you mount this stuff up, I will learn a lot. There are a ton of cab mounts and things like that. So chances are he's done the work on here. Can I lean forward enough? What? I'll be able to work it out or put it back together. One of the two. One of the two. Because I've lost shock mounts and it's not a steering link. It's like a panhard mount. Also, by doing this. Yeah, the shocks are supposed to be here. Ish. No, I can't really get any closer to the camera. This is about it, as good as it's going to be. I mean, there's nothing going on the back, but interesting. I really thought just taking off the inner fenders, and I have not had to work on the Traxxas stuff much. So I did not know this was going to happen. It's going to be cool though, dude. It's going to be cool. There's even a whole lot of stuff for the back too. And I plan on just making my own bed, but I'm using all the brackets. I mean, there is a lot going on. All over the place with this. And I just have no idea yet what goes where or anything. But I'm fairly certain I'm gonna have to lose these two inner fenders, which means I lose the shock towers because they're an integral part of all of it, which is super slick unless you're building something on it that doesn't use them. Yeah, right. So the real question is, and I printed off, I thought damn near everything. The real question is, there's multiple TRX 4s. So is this made with a TRX 4 Sport in mind that did not have inner fenders? Because you say TRX 4, just like you say 10, you say the same thing about the Axial 10.3. There's a few of them where the motor and transmission are in completely different spots, right? So the TRX 4, I think, is the same way. Now, if I search out the bits for the shock tower for the TRX 4 Sport, not one with inner fenders and rock rails and all the business, I'll probably be okay. But the chassis should have been fine for to receive the bumper. I mean, that's not going to be different the way the chassis is dimensionally. In an outside loop. You can't do outside loops with safe on. Or regular loops. I did notice one thing too, printing off the files that so there was STL and then there was another name for the file. And if I did I had to do the STL files or it wouldn't be um the holes and stuff wouldn't be in it. Or it even cut off some pieces. No worry. Yeah, no worry. I knew you weren't safe doing outside loops or inside loops or rolls or anything. You just can't. Yeah, man. It shouldn't happen to new planes. But it's tough, right? Because there's a lot of folks who probably blame the equipment when it isn't the equipment. I'm not saying anything about you guys, but I mean that's a little bit what you're up against. So you gotta, I think, give them as much as you can in the case to help make that call. And sometimes even sending it in, maybe what's up. But that's why I'm saying if there's ever something that happens, if it is a locked up servo, that's fairly easy, uh, hopefully, especially if you catch it beforehand. But if you can capture it with your phone, it's a good idea to do it. And also look at your radio frame losses and holds before you power everything down. Because it really always is a process of elimination when we're trying to figure out what's wrong with our stuff, you know? This is pretty fun. I am pretty pumped about it. It's just too bad, man. I don't want to buy Traxxas stuff to make this work. I'll look through the files again, make sure I'm not missing anything. The Evolution battery tray. I'm trying to remember. That's what I ought to do, is get the sport kit and make it. Just scratch. All right. So listen, I'm selling a 2021 Traxxas Bronco. I'll put this back together so I can buy the kit and put my own stuff in it. That'd be all right, actually. I put my own motor, receiver. I'll go Spectrum on it. I'll know more. I really just got done printing all the bits. Finally just got the box of screws. I need to buy lights and run them before I finalize this stuff too, because the lights are going to come out here and there. And some of these things, you got to run the lights before you screw this stuff together. And I've screwed it together enough already to look at it, but it's not like done. But I would like to at least do my homework and see what I need for the. I mean, honestly, it would just be a few parts to make this work without having to build a kit. I'd rather build a different kit than one of theirs. But I'm such a nice guy, or I'd have one in a box sitting here from the store. Yeah, man, the bumper looks really good to me. Nitro four-wheel drive Beetle with reverse in the 90s. I had one. Nice. Next kit build is Traxxas. Could be. I'd rather not buy their kit. I will if I have to. I want to build the H10 optic. I mean, I suppose I could build their $3,500 kit they just released, but the H10 optics more my speed. It's a little more realistically priced. Yeah, this is one of the. I mean, this one is going to take a while. This is an ongoing deal. This Unimog. I need to do what I can. I think it's always going to be okay. Do what you can, see what you need, order some stuff, take a break. And eventually I'll get it done. That's why when I finally do get it done eventually, I do not think I may not paint this. I haven't changed the nozzle. I haven't changed anything on that thing yet. And the print's pretty good. I think I've beat the printer up though. I have printed a lot of stuff, and I think that SCX6, those files were as big as I could have on the thing. And some of them would warp, and then you've got obstruction happening. I had anything. I don't want to say anything, but a lot of things that could go wrong did. And that printer went through it on the SCX6 Travelall. And this it's all little. This is little. There's a seam down the middle of this. Everything. This front clip is just a piece. The quarter panel is its own piece. This screws on. So it was all smallish pieces. I really want to see how this is going to fit on the TRX4 so I know how they do it so I can, if I want, blow this up and make it on SEX6. That would be sick. There probably will be some airplane videos, coming up. It's still wintertime around here. I'm pretty certain I have some planes on the way. I hadn't been worried about it too much, but I got one of our buddies reached out and asked me last night if I wanted to do some, and I was like, sure. But I'm doing tutorials on airplane radio setups and things like that in the meantime also. So I can keep bringing value to the community that flies airplanes, because I know I'm not flying them and doing all the reviews and junk like I used to, but right before this live today, I released a video on how to set up your flight modes and set up safe. And I did a battery charger video the week before or whatever. So more of that kind of stuff. Yeah, Fred, dude, I think it's pretty good. The safe forward programming video I just put out. I hope it does well. I think it will, actually, too. If people can find it. I got that stupid smiling thumbnail of me holding the radio, so I might need to put some text on the thumbnail, but hopefully it goes well. I mean, it's wintertime, so I didn't stop flying. If you guys know me from doing all these new releases for the longest time, and then I didn't get the new releases, because I wasn't getting them done. So, that's kind of what happened. It slowed down. I had a business, I had a shop, went to hell on that, lawyers and everything else, got out of that, started a new job, blah, 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 man. I haven't stopped since 2012. So slow down a little bit and do what I want. I've been working on trucks a lot, but planes are never going anywhere for me. But the steady flow of new releases, definitely I haven't been doing for a while. I don't know, Jay Woody. Yeah, man, springtime. Springtime. And my kid, shoot, he's old enough now to come. I always knew he'd end up having to film for me. And so I'll make him do it. Knock some out. I don't want to do hat cam, really, if I can help it. So that's why I'm gonna do tutorials, dude. How to do this, how to do that, all the stuff that's not glamorous, that I always knew was important and would be good to do to help people. That's what I'm doing. Last night at 1 a.m, I filmed a how to do the flight modes video. So I don't need anybody else to help me. I don't need sunlight. I don't need good weather. I don't need much, but the desire to do it. He hasn't flown for a while, but he can do it, and I'll get him up on the sticks. I'd love to teach him how to fly so I can work the camera. Honestly, no, I've had so many people help me with camera or try to help me with the camera that I already know what I want and how to do it. So I'm not stingy with the spotlight. I'll still do the talking. But if I can have somebody else fly it, I'll film it. Because then I know the footage is good and I didn't waste the time trying to get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a part of me who wants to just redo the format altogether on the flight videos. I think people like the way I've done it, but have they? Who's to say I have to do the whole flight? Maybe I do cut it up and make it as an artifact that you keep people's attention through the whole thing to watch instead of only the folks that want to see the whole thing, even through the boring middle. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, dude. Roy, if I was doing the strut upgrade on the Carbon Z T28, I pretty much would probably say forget it on gear doors at that point because that would be super hard to do to recreate how that's done. You might be able to keep the strut covers, but maybe not the one or the other, right? Like maybe you can keep the wheel cover part, but the strut cover part would be hard to keep, or the other way around. Hard telling. I tell you what, I do not want this thing in pieces laying around all over the place. I'm gonna figure out this damn Traxxas thing if it kills me, bro. A mankini. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. I guess I'll bring it back. It's been a while, but I'd do it again, I suppose. I can't remember what I put struts on, and I was like, forget the doors. Forget it. Don't need them. It's cool to have them though, but you got to be able to do it, you know. Let's get Boss said he cast a piece so I could keep the doors. Haven't got to fly since I made them. Yeah, Dad. The back's going to be the same thing. Where when I lose the inner fenders, I lose the shock mounts. I'm going to do some research because either this kit has what I need, so it's not a problem, or they intended this to be built on a TRX4 Sport, not a TRX4 Super Duper, and I may need some shock tower bits. It's not a. It is still a TRX4 chassis, so the TRX4 shock towers for the Sport, if that's what I need, and the panhard mount should not be a huge deal. You know what I mean? And I'd rather just get those little bits than their whole kit, I think. Maybe right now. That's what I think. I mean, this truck's not awfully dirty, but it is, you know, it's like, gosh, if you're going to do everything on one, it's almost nice to be working on a clean one, but it's cool. It'll be all right. I just been digging on the camera though, dude. Everything looks, I can see, you know, like good. What's happening? I need some nice weather so I can film some of these. I keep bringing this dude out with me, but there's been too much snow. It's done, but I haven't been able to run it. And then I don't wanna get this one really muddy, so when it's nice and dry, this one's gonna get done. Yeah, I mean, I have made some parts. I mean, that's how that's done. I made parts to attach that body, but I don't know what I need until I get there in the process. And stuff like shock towers, um, they got enough to do the job. Gravel pit? Yeah, bro. Desert style. Desert style instead of woods. I think that thing would be cool wherever it's at, but yeah, you're right. What struts are you using, Roy? The FMS 1.7 Mustang struts? I want to do that mod too, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not files out there already for those doors on those struts. I'm telling you, I'd be so glad to have suspension though, dude. I don't even care if I have to lose them. I've used bleach bottles to make this stuff before sometimes because it's soft too. Coming up with a solution though that works would be pretty baller. And yeah, dude, if I really knew CAD, I'm not going to spend the time though to like learn it. It's little by little as I'm playing around. I mean, I've been in Tinkercad making basic parts out of shapes and negative spaces to create what I needed to do things, and even somewhat complex for me. But like this, I'm not making that. I'm not designing that. I'm nowhere close to designing that. Um, some of these little brackets and cab mounts and whatever. Um, it's good. I mean, it's really good. Um, I'm very far away from being that guy, though. That's okay. I'm busy. I mean, I'm happy with what I do have to work with. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, these bits are cool, dude. You know, like gas tank stuff. It's kind of bright, but these things did good, man. And where I seem to find tremendous enjoyment is I will buy somebody's truck file and repurpose it over and over. Um, Stretch it out, shrink it down, cut it up. I have the raw material. I have the raw file. And I mean, if I wanted to, I can make this fit on the big SCX6. I just have to do a little math and I can scale it up. So I mean, that to me keeps me really um busy and interested. But all these bits that go into making this somehow work on that Traxxas chassis, I wanna see it. What I'm trying to do is get in the designer's head and see how and what he did, um, and how he intends these bits to work with this thing. And this Unimog is supposed to be for a TRX4, and that's the TRX4. The only difference, I think I'm tripping over the shock towers. And if it's that easy to get the ones for the Sport, then they'll bolt right up to this. So that's what I'll do, because what I want to do mostly is get it done and see how he laid it out and intends these bits to work so I can apply it to something else. So I can apply it to something else or scale it up for, I mean, I think having the SEX6 with a cab and not much for the bed, make my own bed out of real wood and metal or something, I think would be super sick, dude. Jerry said, just the FYI to check on your batteries to make sure they are at storage charge. I just found 3 2200 4S that are bad and won't take a charge. Everything else is good to go. Yeah. And honestly, the auto discharge on the batteries is a thing. If you, when you go fly, check them first every time to make sure they're full, even if they were full 3 days ago, because 72 hours seems to be the default on those. And if you put your battery in at 3.8 instead of 4.2 volts per cell, you will have problems. If you're trying to get a full flight out of a battery that's down that low, no wonder you're browning out at the end of the flight and stuff like that. Is something that I would say, because if the receiver wants what 3.7 volts or something, and you're sagging, well, you may be bagging too. Parts. Yeah. Yeah, man. I have to either turn off the auto discharge or very much make sure that I'm ready to go the night before. Because I've caught myself out in the middle of the woods putting into one at 3.8 and wondering why I don't go very long. Yeah, LiPo alarms are a thing, but starting with a battery that's not half empty is another, you know? You do 36? Yeah. That's the thing. It's like all of life. There's so much technology to make things simpler. It may not actually exactly do that unless you can keep up with it, you know? Listen, there's no shame in telling an old guy who's all about Futaba still what to expect so they can make an informed decision. You know what I mean? Because it's hard not to want to do the new stuff and enjoy all the new things. But if you've got a guy who the only reason he's upgrading from his Futaba is because it's on crystals or something, and they may not be the guy to keep up with updates and do the things. Well, keep it simple then. You you only have to do these updates if you want the new extra stuff. The flight controls are done. They're dialed in. There's nothing you're gonna update to fix flight controls. They work. They worked on the last version, the version before that, the version before that, the version before that. You just aren't gonna have British girl voice tell you it's time to land. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you're missing. Exactly. And I have a Futaba 8J, and it was a great radio for a long time. I'm not talking trash about it. What I'm saying is, have you ever updated one? Have you ever needed to? For some people, that's great. There's a slight bit of if it's not broke, don't fix it in there that some people are going to enjoy, especially if a dude, if you can't email a guy because they don't do emails, then probably don't push them into a system that requires updates and SD cards and Wi-Fi. If the dude's still sending smoke signals, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna dip in about 5 minutes and get in the manual and see what I got to do for this thing and start screwing it together. Our buddies at Urban Legend RC are probably still streaming right now. And if you like bashers and crawlers and a good time, there's usually a few of them and they are fun. And I've been going over there actually when I have a minute and enjoying just listening while I'm working on stuff. So I think it's nice when it's real. You know, I think a lot of us are so used to seeing, and I'm part of what created this monster a little bit, but I think the affiliate of it all kind of gets old, dude. And so going somewhere where there isn't that, I think it's refreshing, you know. Yeah, I'm hooked on it now because I avoided it all for so long, and it definitely makes sense if I'm gonna take advantage of my somewhat this is a second job, like little side hustle that I've had forever. Easy. Um, easy, you know, it's all happened very easy. And so uh it makes sense to finally get to some of this helpful stuff that I've been wishing I had the time to do and now I do. The worry and stress of trying to run a business that was lucky to be alive is no longer something I have to worry about. So I have liberated my mind to be able to take on this stuff that I really have always enjoyed again. And what put us on the map in the first place was being helpful. So we're going to keep after that. Jerry, see you later, man. Take care. I'll let you know. Yeah, they're fun, dude. I enjoy them, right? Dreadlock. And I think Ty is like the maestro, you know? Those guys are all in, man. And if you want to do vehicles without spending a ton of money, he's like the king of Amazon vehicles. And just having fun. So there's no like skin in it, probably. And so you're getting the real deal. Yeah, Jerry. And yeah, I'm gonna play with the AS3X Plus too. I mean, do we all know how to update receivers at this point, or do we need to do one of those two videos? I think I should do everything I can think of doing. But I want to hit the bigs first, the big heavies. Yeah. You guys are never gonna say not to do one, you know? It's 3X Plus nose wheel stuff, boss. It is current. Folks need help with it. I feel like there's videos out there on how to update this stuff, the radios and the receivers. Is there not enough? I did the update to my brand to the new stuff on my NX10. I did it over Wi-Fi. It was super easy. There are some they suck. Here's where I think the opportunity really lies in demystifying this stuff. If it's a DX radio, you need a 16 gigabyte card class 4. If it's an NX radio, a 32 gigabyte card class 6 is okay. If it was a camera, you would laugh at somebody that recommended those. There's just so much. I don't know if I've ever seen it written anywhere about that fixed adjustable business that I tried to focus on in the video from earlier. Yeah, Fat Guy Flies RC is pretty good. BD Tennessee. Doesn't Philip have some radio videos too? I mean, there's some good ones out there, man. But after a year or two, the screens don't look the same necessarily. Or YouTube doesn't push it the way it should. I'm just going to see what how to does for me, because how to is one of the most searched phrases in the internet. Yeah, folks love the JR stuff. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. I'm glad I'm up on the Spectrum stuff because I like the planes and everything. And I think the technology is awesome. I mean, I did do a lot of gyro work. I taught us all how to use Hobby Eagles when they were new. And I didn't need it, but man, it was cool. All of a sudden I had a BF 109 that I could just over and over and over land it fine. And this was I mean, great to fly, but a son of a gun on the ground. And then I did Hobby Eagle gyro, cranked up the gain on the yaw, bro, and owned that thing. And I remember those guys thought I was crazy. They're like, "Is this about?" Yeah, I thought this was a gyro video, not a BF 109 video. I'm like, you need to trust me a little bit, because everybody who flies know how hard a 109 is. Relevant current plane at the time too. If a guy can own a 109 over and over and over again on touch and goes and landings, I might have sold some 109s, because now a guy feels like if they get a gyro, they can use it. But they also now see a gyro working in something that they knew to be a nightmare. So I sold the shit out of gyros and 109s. Trust it. I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna turn some screws and listen to the blues. I'm going over to Urban Legend RC, man. Tell those guys hi if they're still on. I may see you over there. And we'll get after it, on Sunday. See what we can do. I do think I have some new planes coming. And Wright's back to something you had always poked me about uh, in the past. I think I'm going to take the time to do it, and I'm going to do it as YouTube-ish and as quick as I can, and not try to be an hour. You know, uh, especially if it is hard for me to get out there and fly them. You may see a setup video first because apparently folks need it. And he didn't mention the 9 fixed gains. Yeah, I mean, that to me is so crazy that it makes me think that I'm doing something wrong. Did I miss a step where I have to do this? I don't think so. It must be confirmed, and it's not obvious because it comes up on a menu. I mean, dude, if you're trying to log into your PayPal, you have to do it in this order. You have to tell it where you see the steps or the traffic light. You can't move on until you do the thing. Or if you're buying something online, you don't, fields in red must be completed. I think it's amazing stuff, and I think they're doing great things with it, and I think it gets better all the time. I actually think even though the screens look different than what we're used to, like what I've experienced doing this on my NX10 fully updated, I think it's easier. And being able to set up the flight mode to the switch, different than I used to do it with channel assign, but man, it was easy. It was easy. If you ever tripping over it or the screens look different and you're not sure what to do, put out a video on it today. So feel free to check that out. Hopefully it helps you. I'm gonna roll, man. I'm gonna turn some screws and listen to the blues over at Urban Legend RC. Check them out. Hey, somebody want to put a link to them in here really quick? Flight modes do rock, and there's more to do with flight modes than just set up safe. So I think it makes sense to do how to do flight modes with your flaps. Now I always use the example where when I dumped the flaps, the plane went to the right. I would trim it out and it was fine. But then when I took the flaps back up, now the plane needs trimmed again. So that's one example for flight modes. But I think more useful than that is, how when we always have a flap to elevator compensation called out in the book for down elevator or up elevator compensation, depending on the plane, that can also be done via flight modes live on the fly while you're in the air. So I got to figure out how to approach that because I really do like the book has always been pretty spot on for me. It's the plug and plays that don't call for the flap to elevator compensation where I think it's really more helpful. But we'll figure out how to position that. I think for flap to elevator compensation, it makes sense to consider flight modes. And that's something I want to explore. So I feel good about teaching it. I mean, that's how I learn it, is by figuring out how to know it well enough to speak about it without being an ass or sounding like a fool. Thanks, Fred. Yeah, Fred posted it up, man. If you want to talk about some bashers, they were talking about the new releases today too. I saw them on earlier when I was picking up my boy from basketball. So they may still be on. So go tell them hi. And we'll see you on Sunday. Check out the videos, dudes. And I know you guys already know everything, but maybe you don't. And hopefully they're helpful, but they'll be helpful to somebody. And we're all pretty hardcore here. So if you think of something, man, let me know. Let me know on Sunday. Let me know in the comment section to the video tutorials that I'll be putting out. What you should see, what we should do, what we should show next. And that's a great place to talk about those things and see what everybody in the comment section suggests. And of course, the squeaky wheel is going to get the oil. You know what I mean? With that, we're out of here. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. We're out of here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. Mike Bird, what up, man? We'll see you next time. Bye now. Boom.